Well, a warm welcome to today's talk in what is somewhat of a depressing day, at least yesterday. Let's look at these happy people first of all to cheer us up. These people are looking really happy, aren't they? Which of course is very nice for them. And this is on the official site of the World Health Organization. Why are they looking so happy? Well, it would appear that they're happy because World Health Assembly adopts historic pandemic agreement to make the world more equitable and safer from future pandemics. More equitable world, safer world, sounds good, doesn't it? But there's serious issues with the World Health Organization that we're going to be looking at in a minute. I mean, this is just the official party line from the World Health Organization. Agreement's adoption following 3 years of intensive negotiations launched due to gaps and inequities identified in national and global COVID-19 responses. What about their own global COVID-19 response, I hear you ask? Agreement boosts global collaboration and ensures stronger, more equitable response to future pandemics. I'm not going to read any more of that, it's painful. But it is interesting to note that they're looking for donations. They've got the sheer temerity to ask for donations. I think they're a bit strapped since President Trump withdrew the United States from the World Health Organization. I won't be donating. Now let's get on to some serious points here identified by Robert Kennedy Jr., Health and Human Services Secretary, of course, about the World Health Organization and the withdrawal of the US. Why did the US withdraw? Some background to the decision from Mr. Kennedy. And more importantly, to chart a future path forward to global cooperation on health and health security. So who would you want to go with? Do you want to trust this bunch of happy people here? Or would you prefer to trust Mr. Kennedy's evaluation of it and the new administration, or not so new Trump administration evaluation of it? If you live in the United Kingdom or New Zealand or Canada or wherever you're a member state, you're tied into this to this global what we'll call it, global hegemony. I don't know. Anyway, let's look at some of Mr. Kennedy's points now. WHO he describes as a legacy institution, just a hangover. It's a legacy. It did some good work in the past. Some pretty big question marks over it now. Mired in bureaucratic bloat, entrenched paradigms, conflicts of interest, international power politics. Should have nothing to do with health. United States has paid a lot of the money. China exerted undue influence over its operations in ways that serve their own interests. Nothing wrong with that, but not particularly interests of the global public. Plenty wrong with that. We don't want that at all. Now, WHO under pressure from China. Suppressed reports at critical junctures. Let's hope these people aren't happy because things are being suppressed. I'm sure that's not. They all look like very nice people to me. Sure, that's not at all why they're happy. So, what was suppressed? Human-to-human transmission. About COVID-19, WHO worked with China to promote the fiction that COVID virus has originated from bats or pangolins rather than from a Chinese government-sponsored research lab in Wuhan. WHO failed to maintain an organisation characterised by transparency and fair governance. So question marks there over transparency and fair governance. Well, imagine that, eh? By and for its member states, WHO acted like it had forgotten its members must remain accountable to their own citizens. Where is the accountability to citizens? Where is the accountability to you and me? Well, this is all supposed to be about the ordinary hoi polloi that pay the taxes for these people to celebrate in such joyous fashion. Must remain accountable to its citizens and not to transnational or corporate interests. We don't want to be supporting transnational and corporate interests unless they're the same as us, the people. Staff at WHO are conscientious people who sincerely believe in what they're doing, Mr. Kennedy generously says, and I think for the most part is probably true. WHO has done important work in the past. Yes, I think that's true. But too often, though, WHO priorities have increasingly reflected the biases and interests of corporate medicine. Corporate medicine very often not aligned with my views of how to optimize health. Too often it has allowed political agendas. Nothing to do with health. Political agendas like pushing harmful gender ideology to hijack its core mission. Stick to your core mission. Too often it's become the tool of politics and turned its back on promoting health and health security. The raison d'etre is promoting health and health security. If it turns its back on that, that concerns me. Global cooperation on health is still currently important now. Mr. Kennedy is not saying we don't need global cooperation. Far from it. He's saying it's exact opposite. We do need global cooperation. Of course we do. But he's offering a better way to do it. This is the point. Or what I believe to be a better way. But it isn't working very well under the WHO, as the failures of the COVID era demonstrate. We could go through them. We won't. It's too depressing. The WHO has not even come to terms with its own failings during the pandemic. I mean, where is the self-interrogation here in this joyous scene? You know, we want to assess, plan, implement, evaluate. Why aren't they evaluating their own performance instead of... I'm not going to read that anymore. That is too... yeah. It's there. If you the links are there. I always put the links, of course. So you can watch it if you want. So failure to come to terms with its own hash-ups, let alone made significant reforms. I would say we need slightly more than significant reforms, a complete root and branch reform, but I think it's probably too late for that. Instead, it's doubled down with pandemic agreement, as we've just seen, which will lock in all of the dysfunctions of the WHO pandemic response. Well, we're not going to participate in that. Good. Good in the United States, bad if you're in the United Kingdom, Australia, Canada or New Zealand, or indeed most European countries. We need to reboot the whole system. Couldn't agree more, Mr. Kennedy. United States continues to focus on infectious disease and pandemic preparedness. Good. Good. So United States is not saying this is not important. Mr. Kennedy is not saying this is important. Far from it. He's saying this is too important to leave to the WHO. And I agree with him. But shifting priorities to focus on chronic disease, essential, that has to be done. The chronic disease pandemic is debilitating. It's the chronic disease epidemic that is sickening our people and bankrupting our healthcare system. Mr. Kennedy is saying, well, other things are bankrupting as well, but that's part of it. I agree. Healthcare in the US to serve the needs of the public instead of industry profit taking. Healthcare should be serving the needs of the public, not serving the needs of industry profit taking. Of course, obviously. We are removing food dyes and other harmful additives from our food supply. Good, can't come soon enough. Investigating the causes of autism and other chronic diseases. Marvellous. Why are people getting excited about this? Why isn't it in mainstream media? Do you know what? This year we could discover the cause of autism. You'd think that would be an interesting article, wouldn't you? Seeking to reduce consumption of ultra-processed food. Excellent. Supporting lifestyle changes that will bolster the immune system and transform the health of our people. Why on earth wouldn't you want to transform the health of a sickly nation? It's complete. This is motherhood and apple pie stuff, but it isn't being done. Corporate interests, vested interests and international manipulation is often working against us. Some people might want a weak Western world riddled by disease. Sorry, I didn't mean to click back onto that. No offence intended. Few of these efforts lend themselves easily to profits or established special interests. So the point is, there's going to be a big inertia because these things don't make a profit. In fact, they're going to reduce profits. There's going to be resistance to them, but they are what we need. These changes require systemic overhaul. We'd like to see a similar change as a priority on the global stage. So would I, including Australia, United Kingdom, New Zealand, Canada, once great countries, we would like to see similar changes and priorities on the global stage. Millions of global citizens have a reduction in premature death due to HIV, TB and malaria. We could include heart disease, strokes, diabetes, Parkinson's disease, many other things. Let's return to the core focus of the global health and global health security. I agree. This is about health security. Back to reducing infectious diseases. Good, still a big problem. Burden of the spread of disease, a potential pandemic potential, still important, of course. I urge, Mr. Kennedy says, World Health Ministers and the WHO to take our withdrawal from the organisation as a wake-up call. Good luck with the British government on that, Mr. Kennedy. I don't think they're going to wake up anytime soon. If you're in Australia, New Zealand or Canada or Ireland, let me know what you think about your situation. I urge World Health Ministers and the WHO to take our withdrawal. Yeah, I've done that. We just want international cooperation to happen in a way that is fair and efficient and transparent for all member states. Fair, efficient, transparent is what we want, please. Now, they've already been in contact with like-minded countries. Encouraging, but I haven't heard anything definite on that yet. Let's hope he gets some positive outcomes from like-minded countries. Although I'd have to say at the moment, I don't think the United Kingdom is a like-minded country. I just grieve over what's happening in my country at the moment. I don't think we're a like-minded country anymore. But science is being done in the United States. If that becomes clear, I'd like to think we'd follow it. We probably won't, but I'd like to think we would. Not at the moment, under the current constraint we're operating in this country anyway. Anyway, yes, as individuals, we join you, Mr. Kennedy. Free international health cooperation, to liberate international health cooperation from the straitjacket of political interference by the corrupting influence of the pharmaceutical companies. Corrupting influence. We don't want corruption. From adversarial nations and their NGO proxies, lackeys, that do the work of nations, states sometimes. I would like to take this opportunity to invite my fellow health ministers around the world into a new era of cooperation. I agree completely. I agree 100%. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think the chances of that happening in the United Kingdom in any time soon are about 0 out of 10. Unfortunately, we don't have to suffer the limits of a moribund WHO. I agree. Let's create new institutions or revisit existing institutions that are lean, efficient, transparent, and accountable. Where is the accountability? There isn't any. I'm aware of in the UK. In the United States, preemptive pardons and things, you know. Do what you want, folks. Just indulge yourself. There'll be no accountability. Whether it's an emergency outbreak of an infectious disease or the pervasive rot is just going on. The rot is going on day after day of chronic conditions that have been overtaking not just America, but the entire world, but the whole world. I agree completely. And of course, we could extend this to analogies beyond that of health as well, I'm sure. We're ready to work with you. I don't think we're ready to work with you, unfortunately, Mr. Kennedy. I personally am. But I'm not sure my government is. I wouldn't even call it my government, the government that's taken over in the United Kingdom at the moment and appears to be all on board with this lot here. But they look happy, don't they? Isn't it nice that they look happy? Right, we're ready to work with you. Thank you, and may God bless you. I like the humility in this. Let's all pray for the health of our children and grandchildren. Produced by the US Department of Health and Human Services. So, one part of the world, full steam ahead with this globalist new era. Let's hope it's not a dystopian new era. I fear it will be. The United States treading its own path at the moment. But the hope is that the United States will make the research so transparent that even scientists and doctors in the UK who are more used to following guidelines might start thinking for themselves. We can hope. Let me know what you think, as always. Now, I hate it on videos. I'm finished now, but I hate it when people say like and subscribe. I've never said that ever, but some people tell me that the news about my videos, for example, is simply not getting through anymore. So if you do subscribe, hit that bell icon, then you'll be notified. Let's hope we're not being downgraded in the algorithms by vested interest. But the YouTube still allows for that bell icon, so click that, then you'll get notification of any new videos. And I hate saying this, I've never said this before, but I only say it because I think there might have been a change. There might have been a change in the algorithm. So I think, I don't know, there may have been. I suspect there may have been. And other people who seem to know about these things suspect there may have been. But for now, as always, God bless and thank you for watching.